Hey you guys, welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. Today is a cold, unseasonably cold day, I guess. We just got hit with a random day in the middle of warmth. Yesterday was 75, tomorrow's gonna be in the 60s, and today was in the low 40s. So I used today to do a whole lot of inside stuff, run some errands. I was certainly not out in the garden in the 40s today, but now it's time for dinner, and I've been busy all day, and I just need something that comes together pretty quickly. So I am just working on chopping up these potatoes into fry shape so I can make oven fries. And then we are also going to make tuna cakes and coleslaw. And it'll all come together in the time that it takes for these potatoes to cook, which is my favorite thing. Takes about half an hour. So it's great for a busy weeknight. I am using gold potatoes and I'm putting them into water. I have found that you don't really have to soak them. Most of the recipes I found for oven baked fries called for soaking the potatoes with gold potatoes. I think that's true with russets as well. I have found that the main thing is just to get them in some water, jostle them around. You'll see that your water gets kind of cloudy, and then pull them out of that water once you've gotten some of that starch off and dry them off really good. And that's really all I have found necessary to be able to get really nice oven baked French fries. So I'm going to jostle them around for a little bit. It's a little bit hard to see, but that water is cloudy. And that's just from the starch coming off the potatoes. Now that I've got these potatoes all chopped up, just going to get them onto a nice, clean, dry towel and dry them out. Dry them off. Going to get a cookie sheet out for these, a baking pan, whatever you want to call it. I think technically with the rim it's called something else, but I don't know. I use them for all the same things. Okay, so our potatoes are nice and dry. So now we need some oil, and this is where you can do whatever you want. Season your fries up however you like them. I'm going pretty simple with some garlic powder, salt, and pepper. There's my salt. I refilled this today and I don't know what I did with my measuring spoon. I normally leave in it. Salt. I just get in here with my hands and make sure all the potatoes are nice and coated in the oil and seasonings. I really like smoked paprika on my fries as well. I bought some more of that today. I didn't think about that. I should have added some. But that's okay. I'm not going to get my hands all dirty again. So today they'll just be garlic, pepper, and salt. The main thing here is you want to spread them out. Make sure all the fries have some breathing room so they don't steam in the oven. I have done that before where I had my potatoes just too close to one another, and they definitely steamed. And they did not get nice and crunchy like you want them. That looks good. I'm gonna get my hands washed and we're gonna get these in the oven. To start, I'm gonna put them in for 15 minutes at 425 degrees. Then we'll come back and we will toss them and cook them for another 10 minutes. I do wanna show you, because I struggled for a long time with getting nice crispy oven fries, is that the secret I found is having that tray just about as high as it'll go in the oven. You know, they say heat rises, and I guess that makes a difference on how nice and crispy the fries get. Now that our fries are going, I want to move on to another element of our dinner. So we're going to make some tartar sauce. And I will link the recipe that I am basing this on below. It's from a website called Nom Nom Paleo. I've been using her recipes for years, but I don't need as much as the recipe calls for. So I'm kind of eyeballing things just to not make quite as big a batch. But we need some mayonnaise, some capers. Love that briny, tangy flavor you get from the capers. So I'm just going to chop these up so they're nice and incorporated in our tartar sauce. The recipe calls for some dill pickles finely chopped, but I actually have homemade dill pickle relish, and so it kind of saves me a step here that I don't have to chop up the pickles. I think you can get dill pickle relish at the grocery store too, if that's something you'd be interested in. Ooh, my ring didn't want to go back on. So now we need a little bit of pepper. This recipe didn't call for it, but I am going to add just a little bit of dill. Maybe a quarter teaspoon, not very much. And then a little bit of lemon juice. Get this all stirred together and we'll have our tartar sauce ready for our tuna cakes. Give it a little, yeah, that's good, you guys. I'm looking forward to this dinner. Now that our tartar sauce is done, I need to run out to the garden and grab some chives. Our tuna cake recipe calls for green onions, but if you watch the beef and broccoli video I posted last week, you heard me talk about how I have an abundance of chives in my garden right now, and so I've just been using them where recipes call for green onions. So let's go out there and grab some chives. I showed you guys my jessamine last week when it was covered in buds and a few blossoms, so I feel like you deserve a look at it now in all of its glory with these flowers all open. Isn't it just beautiful? And all those vines that crept over into my sky pencil holly. I definitely got to prune those out of there soon. But we'll let the flowers do their thing first. It is so cold out here today, you guys. It was definitely a good day for inside stuff, but I need some chives for our tuna cakes. This should be a nice amount. The phlox and our tiny little baby daffodils are blooming. Well, I've got my nice bunch of chives here. I've got it rinsed, nice and washed up after we came in from the garden. Now I'm just gonna chop them up into little pieces. Try not to fling them all over the kitchen counter. So this tuna cake recipe is so good and it's so simple. It calls for a couple of cans of canned tuna. I have I think it's chunk white tuna. Oh, it's albacore solid white tuna is what I have. We really love these tuna cakes with it. So I've got my chives chopped and in the bowl. I have half a cup of cashew flour that I'm adding to this. I ground this up myself earlier. That's why I have my little food processor here drying out after being washed. So now we need an egg. A little bit of hot sauce. We're going to use that hot sauce we made a couple of weeks ago. Just about a teaspoon. A couple of teaspoons of Dijon. Then we need some salt and pepper. I have found that I like adding all of the ingredients together with the exception of the tuna, and then get those all nice and mixed together, and then mix the tuna in. I just find I get the egg better incorporated this way. And so that's how we're gonna roll. But these come together so fast and they're just really delicious. I have made tuna cake recipes like this before that used regular breadcrumbs, and the ratios are really similar. So if you wanted to make this recipe and just sub in regular old breadcrumbs instead of the cashew flour, that would work. I don't know how well you can see over there, but there is our mixture. Now we're going to add our tuna in. And my cat, who got up on the table back there, is going to be very happy because he came out when he heard the cans open. So I will pop these in the floor so he can lick them clean. He's not spoiled or anything. Here, Benny. There you go, bud. So now I'm just going to get this tuna broken up some and get all of these ingredients nice and incorporated together. Make sure we get our hot sauce down in here as well. So I'm going to bring this over and show you what it looks like. You can see our tuna cake mixture. So this is ready to form into patties and get into our skillet to fry up. The original recipe calls for coconut oil for frying. I don't have any coconut oil, so we're just going to use a few tablespoons of avocado oil. You could get really technical with this and weigh this out, make sure all of your patties are equal in weight. I am just kind of scoring this with my fork into quarters, and then I'm just going to use my hands and pull out about a quarter of our mixture. I will say these are a little bit tender, so just be gentle with them. But they're delicious and they get nice and crispy on the outside. I'm a really big fan. These are going to fry here for about 4 to 5 minutes. We're just looking for that bottom to be nice and crispy, and then we'll give them a flip. And now it's time to get the fries out of the oven and toss them. While our tuna cakes are cooking, we are going to get our coleslaw made. So we need about half a cup of mayonnaise, I'm just going to do about a teaspoon of honey. The recipe that I follow, that I sort of base this off of, it calls for a tablespoon, but we have been trying to limit our sugar and not get super addicted to it after having done our Whole30. So just a little bit there. This will actually be the first time I've done any added sugar since we did our Whole30 in February. So we added some salt and pepper, and now we're going to add about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. We just want to get this all nice and mixed up. And then we need to add some coleslaw mix. Now you could absolutely grate your own cabbage and carrots and do it yourself, but let's be real. Most of us are going to use pre-shredded coleslaw mix. So this amount of dressing should accommodate about 5 cups of coleslaw mix. So I'm just doing roughly about 5 handfuls. We'll just get that all nice and tossed in our coleslaw dressing. I do really like coleslaw with a little bit of celery seed. I grew up going to, what's it called? Captain D's. And all of the copycat recipes that I've seen for coleslaw from there have celery seed in it. And so I think that's why I like it. It's just a little bit of a nostalgic flavor. But I don't have any today. And this dressing is fantastic on its own, like it is. But if I had that celery seed, I would add not very much, maybe just a quarter teaspoon. So there you have it. Coleslaw is ready. Now it's time to flip our tuna cakes. I started to use the wrong spatula. Can't use metal on this. Okay, so let's get in here. Ooh, that's hot. I do like to give them just a little bit of a smash and then flip them over. Nice and browned. I think that comes through a little darker on the camera than it does in person, but they look perfect. So now these just need to cook on the other side for about 5 more minutes. You guys, our fries are done, so I'm gonna get those out of the oven. Nice and browned and crispy. And our tuna cakes just beeped the 1-minute warning. So everything's gonna be ready all right together. I am gonna go ahead and dish up. This was the moment my microphone died, and I didn't realize, but we're just dishing up our fries, and they are so good and so crunchy. We're gonna grab ourselves a tuna cake. Check it, make sure it's nice and browned on that bottom side. And then we're gonna get some coleslaw. You guys, this meal is just so good. It reminds me a little bit of getting to go somewhere like a Captain D's or something like that. And if you have been around, you know, I have some food intolerances, and so I can't eat in places like that anymore. But this gives me a little taste of what I'm missing there. So let's get our tartar sauce on, and then we'll give this a try. Got our lovely plate of food here. We've got our French fries, our coleslaw, our tuna cake with our tartar sauce. It all came together right in 30 minutes, and it's just a fantastic meal. So these fries, they are so nice and crispy, but the insides are really tender. And they just come out perfect every time. And you can season them any way you want. You don't have to do salt, pepper, and garlic like me. And this coleslaw, it is so good. There's something about that little bit of apple cider vinegar and honey. There's a tang and a sweetness. I don't know how else to describe it, but it just balances so well. The one thing I would say is make sure you have plenty of black pepper in there. I actually added some more to it just because it's a classic flavor that needs to be there. And then, you know what? Let's dig into our tuna cake. Get a bite with some of this tartar sauce. They're so good. They're simple. You saw how quick it is to throw together and cook it up, but that nice crunchy exterior, and then the inside is really nice and tender. I also really love all of the flavors. It's packed full of flavor with the hot sauce and the mustard. We have all those chives in there, and they're just fantastic. So if you guys are anything like me, this time of year is really busy, and I hope that this is just another quick meal that you guys can add to your repertoire. Things that are just fast and easy to get on the table when we're all busy, right? So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.